Last episode was rough. So rough, I skipped an upload for this series last Saturday. Nah, I'm just kidding. I was just busy making videos for Triangle Strategy, which I'm super excited for, by the way, and you should be too, and I didn't want to try and rush this one out. So, in this episode, it's time to regroup and think about where we go from here. We've got some key things to target. At this point, I'm kind of lost on what to do. I've just lost 2 key units that I was going to incorporate into my core, and this means that Oswin, who has been growing very nicely so far, is going to need to be cemented into my core instead. I'm also going to have to think about who else to add. Unfortunately for me, Legault and Heath are both red units, and based on how things went last time, I'm probably not going to be allowed to recruit them. Ninian and Hawkeye are both guaranteed, and they're both quite good, so I can consider using them, but it's definitely very far from what I've planned. I'd really love to give Heath a chance, but realistically I won't be allowed. I needed to think of some way to get some leverage here, and that's when it dawned on me. I need to promote Sane, and I need to get my hands on some better weapons. Hector and Oswin are both almost capped, and Bartre has been mostly dead weight for me outside of the occasional kill or level up. Sane, however, is still stuck at level 13 and hasn't seen much action for the last few chapters. His level ups have been quite subpar, and it's been deterring me from promoting him, but that needs to change as soon as possible. I decided that he's going to have until the end of chapter 20 to level as much as he can, and then he's promoting. Chapter 19X is going to be great for that. Kishuna's bodyguards are all a treasure trove of EXP, and I can definitely farm out a couple of levels there. Since Marcus is probably going to be too busy dealing with Ion, and Sane's hit rate against him is going to be abysmal anyways, I'll go sweep up the real EXP at the top of the map. I don't expect us to get 19XX, but between this and chapter 20, I think he can get to at least 16 or 17 and then be promoted. The second part of the plan is slightly more intricate. In order for me to be successful down the line, I really need to get Legault. It's still up in the air as to whether or not my intricate turn order plan from episode 2 is going to work out in order for me to get the Ocean Seal, but his utility could be nice. While he can be replaceable by chest and door keys for the most part, what's irreplaceable is his ability to steal, find things in the sand, and most importantly, get the members card, which is going to give me early access to killer weapons in the chapter 20 secret shop. He also comes with a guiding ring, which is no longer of use to me, but it's a nice 5k gold to add to the bank. Whether or not Speedy is going to go for the kill with Marcus here, however, is a different matter. I'm expecting him to maybe block the door in the middle, and so I decided I'm going to go through the left-hand side and try and intercept Legault in the top left corner if I can. This is all I can do for now, and without getting 19XX, I'm not going to be going first in chapter 20 or 23's desert, so things seem like they're falling apart. And add insult to injury, Chapter 22's Knight's Crest is now a must if I'm going to use my almost capped Oswin at all in the future. Basically, I'm going to need a miracle to pull this off, but I guess for now I'll take it one step at a time and focus on Sane. On the morning of the stream, I realized that there is a goddess icon in the bottom right village of 19X, and it's reachable by a flyer on turn 1. Since Jay is going first in this chapter, and let's be real, purely out of spite towards Speedy, I DM'd him to give him a little nudge as to how he can acquire some cash. I'm not getting it no matter what, but I'd rather not let Speedy continue to line his pockets. I had also DM'd Jay earlier in the week about how there's a Luna tome in one of the chests in the room I was planning to go through in Dragon's Gate. I said he could have it if he helped me get Legault. He wants to use Canas and it's in his best interests, so I'm trying to bargain for some favor here. He didn't have my back when it counted for Raven, and I'm not counting on it this time either, but I'll try to dangle a shiny little toy in front of him and see what he thinks. Anyways, the stream starts off and it goes almost exactly how I expected. Speedy rushes Marcus out front, I rush Sane, and between the two of us we're taking a bunch of kills as we make our way through to the boss. Jay gets a few kills in the back with some of his units that we didn't fully pick off, and he snags the Angelic Robe. It's fairly obvious that Speedy is rushing the objective here yet again with Marcus and Fiora, but I didn't care about that. I'm looking further ahead, so while he did that, I ran right past him and started killing off Kishuna's crew for the EXP. Speedy eventually got the boss kill after many a miss, and Sane managed to farm out a couple decent level ups. Here, I had an interesting option that I could have exercised. At one point, Fiora was in range of one of the snipers surrounding Kishuna. I could attack Kishuna here, get him to leave at the end of the turn, and trigger his reinforcements to start moving. Since they would do the most damage to Fiora, I would heavily assume that the sniper would go for her and finish her off for me. This would have dealt a heavy blow to Speedy's roster and set him back 25 points. But it was 100% going to cost me Legault in Retribution, as well as any potential at lining up my turn order down the line. So I ultimately decided not to do it, even if it would have been worth it for the hilarious content. I had more important plans in motion. We cleaned out the map and it was time to attempt the Kishuna kill. We brought out the silver weapons and killing edge that we'd had in the convoy and we decided to let it loose. Marcus, hit. Oswin, hit. Hector, hit. And all of a sudden we were 4 HP off of killing Kishuna and going to 19XX. I had Sane and he was ready with a hit rate in the high 60s, but all of a sudden Speedy said, wait, we never decided who was going to get to the boss kill. He was right. We kind of just went with it because I don't think we expected to hit all of those low percentage shots. But I didn't care. I was willing to give the kill to anyone if it meant I got 19XX. This was just a boss, it wasn't even an objective, so it didn't really matter. This was a dream come true, an opportunity for my plan to get completely back on track after it had been so badly derailed. So with no resistance, I just put my arm up and said, hey, Jay can have the kill with Elliewood, and I will not regret it a single bit. We were off to 19XX. In and of itself, the chapter was no problem. I got the Dragon Shield, Speedy got the Talisman, I got the objective, Speedy got the boss kill, and I got another level on Sane in the process. But most importantly, the turn order was in sync, baby, and I'm all for it. On to Dragon's Gate. I've already detailed my plan above, so I'll spare you the recap, but I get to go first here, and I immediately start putting my plan into action. Jay completely abandoned the rush up to the top and went through the middle area and over to the right to find his own pocket of EXP, and Speedy rushed up with Marcus as usual while the rest of his units lagged behind a bit to take care of the sniper and get the brave bow in the bottom left corner. I managed to get into the room on the left, but as has been the case with my RNG, I suddenly found myself in a situation where Sane almost died. Luckily, he survived with 2 HP left, but that was a little too close for comfort. In that time, Speedy killed Darren by turn 4 or 5 and the reinforcements were halted, but in that moment I realized he was in striking distance of Legault. Here we go again. I immediately regretted not rescuing Hector and following him up the middle, but the deed was done. He fired off a javelin which hit Legault, but for some reason he decided that he wanted to earn the chat's favor and let him survive to give me a recruitable unit. He just made the biggest mistake he could. Not only did he just hand me the Ocean Seal on a silver platter, but he also gave me access to killer weapons quite early on, which immediately makes my units a much more formidable force. Sane also reached level 19 on this map, which was much higher than I'd expected, so I promoted him during the preparations of the next chapter. Everything was starting to fall into place. Chapter 21 is an interesting chapter. Usually, it's not very interesting, and it's very well known for arena grinding for a lot of people. But for us, it was very interesting. On this map, there is a key item that both Speedy and Jay wanted. It was a race to the Elysian Whip. But, unfortunately for them, I had a newly promoted 8-move, tanky paladin, as well as a newly acquired dancer, which meant that I was guaranteed to get there first, despite going last. Speedy tried to lobby with me to give him the dance, offering up 12k gold, but I think he's burned enough bridges by now. Although, in hindsight, maybe I should have taken it to cripple his funds. But what it eventually led to was something I never expected. Speedy was desperate, and in his time of desperation, he decided to use his forced interaction to rescue my Sane and clear his path to the Elysian Whip. And he succeeded. He immediately went on to early promote Fiora, but for the rest of the chapter, that was a wrap. He ended up dropping my Sane, my Legault successfully stole the hero crest from Oleg, and I finished him off with Sane, earning the objectives and rounding off the last chapter of the stream. This was a good day for me. The Kishuna miracle paved the way for some major successes in this stream, and now I'm back in business. But there's still a lot of planning left to do. Next week, we go for Knight's Crest Round 2. It's do or die. See you guys later. Peace.